Oh boy, everybody. This is some interesting news that we're getting. This is actually technically a follow-up on a segment I did maybe a week and a half ago about Moist Critical, one of the biggest YouTubers on the entire platform of YouTube and really on the entire internet. He's on Twitch, he's really big on Twitter as well. He's everywhere. He recently started his own esports league. I believe it's for Apex Legends, called Moist Esports. And he literally has one of the best, if not the best, roster of Apex players in the world on his team. And despite that, his team is being blocked from entering the country due to U.S. immigration being U.S. immigration. You see, Critical is not a political content creator, nor is he a particularly politically inclined guy. You can just kind of tell from the way he is about politics that he doesn't really seem to be the kind of person who sticks his nose into it, probably thinks it's none of his business and not anything of an interest. The problem is a lot of people think that. I think most people are prone to think that until politics affects them. So if you're part of a marginalized group, chances are by the time you're an adult, politics is going to have affected you a lot in your life, and so you're going to be inclined to being involved in politics at quite a young age. Maybe you're friends with people from these groups, and that pushes you into being involved with politics at a very young age. Maybe you get indoctrinated by some right-wing political shit, or some crazy left-wing political shit. It exists out there. There are grifters who pretend to be left-wing, second thought and whatnot. Bars. But Critical has been thrusted into the world of politics with this entire thing. He thought he could just throw together a bit of a fun esports event and bring a bunch of people from around the world, from Australia, I believe, actually, over to America for a couple weeks, a couple months, I don't even know, not that long, just to do an event. And then was quickly blindsided by the realization that all this hubbub you hear about the U.S. immigration system being broken, it's not just people making a big deal out of nothing. It's not people making a mountain out of a molehill. As it turns out, it is actually a really big problem, no matter how powerful and wealthy you are. Not that that would change anything about how broken the system is, mind you. But I think the realization of just how fucked you are when it comes to trying to deal with U.S. immigration, even with everything on your side, if the dice just don't roll in your favor, you don't get that nat 20, I think this really kind of made him realize how broken this system is. And I wonder if it's going to open his eyes to how broken other systems are. He seemed to be taking a pretty big step in the video we covered of him talking about this, but he put out a new video just 17 hours ago. It's currently number 3 on YouTube trending for gaming, called I'm Suing U.S. Immigration. Dude, this is, possibly, history-making news. One of the biggest YouTubers there is, period, is suing U.S. immigration. Fucking based? Can I get a fucking base from you guys in chat? 'Cause this is fucking based. This is awesome. Objectively, this is based. One of the coolest things a YouTuber has done with their money, their platform, and their connections that I have seen someone do on YouTube outside of Mr. Beast. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool, and I mentioned it in my last video, but Moist Critical is one of the better human beings with a large YouTube platform, in my opinion. If you guys don't know, and I'm not trying to glaze here, but I feel I should bring it up. It's relevant. It's relevant character details. Critical gives away thousands of dollars per stream. Every stream, and he streams regularly, just to his fans. Imagine the way that, you guys donate to me. Instead, he's just donating to his fans. Thousands of dollars per stream in amounts that range from, $10 to $50 to $100 to random chatters that just ask him for money. And if they're like, hey, Critical, I want to get a PlayStation 5, but I'm $100 off from the price. Could I get $100 from you? He'll be like, yeah, sure, man. What's your PayPal? And, you can drop your PayPal, and he will send you the amount you ask for. And he's done that for a year now. There was a big drama of people claiming he was doing it for a tax write-off, but that's not something you can write off on your taxes. So if he was, he would be breaking the law. And he probably would have already gotten in trouble for it by now. So no, he wasn't doing it for tax write-off. He's just a nice guy, and I respect that. So I hope to see him potentially break into the realm of U.S. politics and maybe bring his surprisingly positive, though aesthetically nihilistic takes to the world of politics. Hopefully not too centristy, though, but, you know, generally it seems like he's a good guy. Damn it, he uses PayPal? Fuck, I use Cash App? Well, if you're a YouTuber, you kind of have to use PayPal, because, like, everything in the YouTube, Twitch streaming world uses PayPal and connects to PayPal, so it's really the good... You have to have it. You have to use it. I don't really think they have support for much else.
The title's not clickbait. I am actually suing U.S. immigration. I'm sure a lot of you...
Not clickbait. He's doing it. What a legend. This might actually end up in history textbooks. You guys know that, right? Like, a citizen suing U.S. immigration with a large following like this could end up in textbooks down the road.
You already know the reason why, but let me catch you up to speed for those of you that might not know the lore. So hop on in. Let me take you on a little adventure here through this infuriating journey of dealing with the U.S. Immigration Department, and in particular, one Whippets-addicted, bedwetting homunculus agent there that absolutely just had a grudge against our esports organization, Moist Esports. I swear to God, if anime was real, I'd have enough rage against the U.S. Immigration Department to finally go Super Saiyan. I cannot stand how corrupt that agency.
So I think my understanding is that his theory is that some guy, just some single pencil pusher who makes decisions at U.S. Immigration, didn't like the name Moist in the name Moist Esports for his org, and they basically gave him the red rubber no stamp, no admission stamp when they saw that, because I'm like, if you don't know, moist is one of those words that people just can't handle. Like, there's a list of words that YouTubers are told not to even use in their videos, or topics to avoid in general. One of them is talking about pee. It has been statistically proven that if you have, like, say 1,000 viewers watching you live and you talk about pee, you will lose like 80 viewers at least. I might have lost like 8 just now from bringing it up. Like, just simply saying it. So if you ever, like, a good piece of advice for streamers is if you ever need to use the restroom, you're supposed to say, I'm going to use the restroom, and get up and go use the restroom. Don't say you got to go pee or whatever, because people will leave just because you said that. Really weird, but people have very particular, like, hang-ups and stuff. It's a very bizarre thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah. Yep. It's real. And in this case, it's like moist is one of them as well, where if you say the word moist, a lot of people just can't handle it. They cringe at it. And so some pencil pusher, apparently, at U.S. Immigration didn't like the word moist and just gave them the no stamp.
He is. I've already made 2 videos having a conniption about it and losing my mind like a caveman who discovered fire for the first time. But what I discovered is just pure, rotten to the core, blatant corruption. I've explained the situation in great detail, but I'll give you the very short explanation for it. Our esports Apex squad consists of 3 Australians and 1 American. The 3 Australians were denied entry into this country multiple times over the course of 6 months. One of the reasons they gave us was they didn't believe they were as highly ranked as we stated they were, even though we gave them all of the leaderboards, the official standings, and they could also just Google that if they didn't believe us. But we even had an EA official, one of the highest ranking executives at EA, lobby for us and write on our behalf about how important our team is to the esports for Apex because we are so highly ranked. And U.S. Immigration didn't believe that guy was a real authority. They thought he was like the fucking Satchmo or something. Like, the guy didn't exist. They just wiped their ass with that guy's entire resume, just writing him off as some kind of make-believe EA cryptid. We fought a losing battle against U.S. Immigration.
How fucking evil does U.S. Immigration have to be as an organization for EA to be the good guys? Like, part of the good guys group in this story. Think about that for a moment. Fucking EA. It's like, how bad do you have to be for EA to be morally opposed to you and on the right side of the issue?
The reasons were so fucking silly, and it prevented our team from coming into the country, which upended our entire plans of having them here for the Split 1. Luckily, we got them into Canada, they played all of Split 1 in Canada, and they finished 2nd. So, that means they qualified for the biggest tournament, which is the Apex LAN Major, which is happening right now in LA. But, since we were denied so many times, they couldn't actually get to LA, which left us with only one option, which I was fucking freaking out about in the last video, where we had to release our team. because they couldn't come to the US under our umbrella, the Moist Esports umbrella. We had to release them for them to even have a chance at playing at that LAN. But boy howdy, wouldn't you know it, that didn't work. They were denied ESTA visas. If any of you are foreign and have ever been to America, you know what an ESTA is. It's like a 99% success rate with getting an ESTA visa. Almost no one gets.
Okay, so yeah, this is like actually malicious. Like something malicious is happening at US immigration. Like this could be literal targeting. What the fuck?
Chance at playing at that LAN. But boy howdy, wouldn't you know it, that didn't work. They were denied ESTA visas. If any of you are foreign and have ever been to America, you know what an ESTA is. It's like a 99% success rate with getting an ESTA visa. Almost no one gets declined. You have to be like a notorious terrorist to get your ESTA visa declined. Fucking Osama bin Laden might have even been able to get an ESTA. That is how easily accessible those are. Yet, 2 out of 3 of our Australians were denied ESTAs. So only one of them, Imti, was allowed to come in on an ESTA, which means he got here while the other 2 couldn't. That's inexplicable. Why were 2 of them rejected, but Imti's was accepted? They were in the same boat, and yet for some reason, it was him that was okay, but the other 2, no, they're a fucking danger. You guys are trying to smuggle in Romulans or something to take over America from the inside out.
Well, the fact is there's something going on behind the scenes here. This isn't even just normal U.S. Well, it probably is normal U.S. immigration fuckery, to be completely honest with you. This is probably relatively common if it's happening here. This is just the fact that it's happening to Critical is not some stars aligning thing. This kind of stuff's got to be happening all the fucking time, and Critical just got unlucky in being one of the people, and like it's happened to, and his like group, his esports group, being one of the people or a group of the people it's happened to, enough that he can bring attention to it. There's no way the stars just aligned here and some massive figure with like a big group for esports happen to be the ones who get this massive asshole of a U.S. immigration officer overseeing their case or whatever. I don't believe
the land of the free and the home of the fuck me in the face. Like that is inexplicably stupid. Like if all 3 of them got rejected, then maybe they had found something. But no, that didn't even happen. They rejected 2 out of 3. So what the fuck could the reason for that possibly be? We speculated it's because they reapplied for ESTAs even though they still had like a little time left on their previous ones, so maybe that flagged it in their system. But that might not be it because MT still got through, but the other 2 didn't. It's stupid. It's super stupid. So that made it even bigger.
There's no reasons that stand out, right? Like unless there's something about the other 2 people who weren't let in that we don't know, like some sort of background check that could be easily found that shows some some unacceptable behavior. Like maybe they, I don't know, I couldn't even guess. Maybe they said something on a stream once that got clipped and looks really bad. Who knows? But like it's weird that all of the same process took place for all 3 Australian esports players, and then they tried to get ESTA visas for all of 3 of them after dropping them from the team so they could just go there as like foreigners visiting. But instead, 2 of them were rejected for no reason, no given reason at least, but one of them wasn't. And there's no way anything about the way they went through this process that could have been the cause of this, that could have set off tripped some alarm in the system and fucked things up. So it's either behind the scenes fuckery or something about the other 2 esports players that US immigration knows, but they don't know would be a problem or haven't said what might be the problem, and Critical doesn't know about. It's funny how the people in Asmongold's video comments on the previous Penguins video on immigration were saying he should have gone to the Mexican border. They would have they would have been let in by Biden. Really says something about the right-wing fan base he has cultivated. Well, it says a lot about Asmongold's fan base, for sure. It's gotten very right-wing, but also says a lot about, like, just the way conservatives react to things like this. They don't see this obvious example of the U.S. immigration system being overly strict to the point where it's like, oh shit, clearly this is so overcorrecting that, like, clearly we don't have a problem with criminals pouring into the country through the U.S. border. No, instead they find a way to live wrap what they've seen around their opinion and integrate it into their opinion, even if it makes no fucking sense, right? So conservatives, instead of seeing this and thinking, oh, maybe U.S. immigration is a lot more strict than I thought, instead they say, well, if going through the legal routes is so hard, maybe it would have just been easier to illegally immigrate. Like, what? No, it would not have been easier to illegally immigrate.
Problem, because getting denied an ESTA means you're basically shit out of luck. So we were going to have to play, excuse me.
Also, these people don't know how illegal immigration works. The vast majority of illegal immigrants in America are overstaying visas. Like, they get a visa through the process, they get approved for a visa through this process that Critical can't get these people approved for, and then they overstay it after it expires. Very few illegal immigrants in America are crossing, like, on foot or plane or submarine or boat across the southern border. If anything, there are a fair amount of people being trafficked across the border against their will. That happens. But for the most part, illegal immigrants come here after being approved for this process that Critical's guys cannot be approved for. So yeah, the system is broken and way too strict. And there's not a border crisis. There's no border crisis. If there was a serious border crisis, then a long time ago the US would have put a lot more money into the National Guard or even the fucking army going down south and, like, stabilizing Mexico. If it was really as much of a failed state as Republicans say it is, we would have done something about it a long time ago if it was actually causing the problems Republicans claim it was. Sorry, getting a little sidetracked, but yeah. Immigration, border, Critical.
We're going to be playing this major with only 2 out of 3 of their players and no coach, because 2 of them just couldn't get in. So we were pretty much out of options. By this point, our team hadn't been playing together for fucking weeks, because Waltzy and Kyle, the Australians that were declined, were still unable to make it into America. So in a last-ditch Hail Mary effort, we applied for B1 visas, which I think probably some of you have heard of before. And in order to do those, that's an in-person interview with, like, the actual embassy. And to be able to actually talk to somebody here is huge, because when you're dealing with U.S. immigration, you're talking to soulless androids that do not want to be there and do not do.
This could either be the point where the story takes a big turn for the positive or gets even more confusing and upside down. But the fact that this is ending in a lawsuit kind of tells me it's going to get more confusing upside down, and their problems will not be solved by talking to a real fucking person.
Do their job at all. But we were able to set up appointments for a B1 visa interview for both Kyle and Waltzy in Lisbon. So we had to fly them over the course of, like, 3 days, mind you, from Canada to Lisbon to sit down for that interview. They nailed the interview. They got their B1 visas. We then had to fly them from Lisbon to America, all in the span of only a couple of days. And they finally touched down in this God-blessed, patriotic country 2 days ago, where they could finally play together as a team. So as you can imagine, since they hadn't played together in so fucking long, the cohesion was a little rough around the edges, because U.S. immigration slapped us so hard, a biblical smackdown, to try and ruin our chance.
I forgot. Yeah, when you're dealing with all this shit, how are you supposed to focus on practicing and like, doing the game? And, like, you just get off a plane through all this, like, fucking nightmare, like, immigration bullshit, and it's like, all right, now play the best you've ever played in your lives at this Battle Royale game. That's rough.
Chances winning this major, of which they are one of the top competing teams in the tournament and one of the favorites to win it all. U.S. immigration did everything possible to make it unwinnable, and yet our team is defying fate. We played today, our final group, and we were able to not only place first on the day with 62 points, but we were able to lock down winner's side. I keep saying we. This mysterious squad known as Not Moist was able to, against all the odds that U.S. immigration stacked against us, lock down winner's side for tomorrow. And I couldn't be more proud of this group of gentlemen, of which I am not associated with on any paperwork whatsoever. They are not our team. They literally...
I would have called it Arid Esports. You know, the opposite of Moist.
Really are not our team, but I am still very proud of this group. Through all of this adversity that was entirely unnecessary, unwarranted, unjust, and, dare I say it, potentially illegal, they have still risen to the occasion to perform so fucking well. I want to show you clips from that, but as the title of the video would indicate, I am suing U.S. immigration. We, Moist Esports, are suing U.S. immigration.
All right. Here's the big question. This is the big question. Obviously, Critical's got the money for really good lawyers, and those really good lawyers probably would advise him well on what his course of action should be and would have a good amount of research done on the law to figure out if what's happened here is illegal and if there's a case to be had. Do you guys think there's a good case here? A winnable case for Critical here? He hasn't explained, like, the legal side of anything yet, obviously. But just from what we've heard so far, does it seem like there's a good case here? I think so, yeah. I don't know enough about the law around this to really know. I'm no expert. I'm far from an expert. I'm not even a novice in this subject, so I can't really say. Nah, sue the state? I don't know. Any case is winnable with enough money? I suppose. He's got a lot of that.
We've talked with our lawyers, and they agree that this is very mysterious, how it ever even got to this point. It seems like there were quite a few no-nos that were committed here, and some protocol that wasn't followed, and a lot of just big red flags, like some big problems, and it just really seems like the U.S. immigration agent handling our case either didn't like us, or just really didn't feel like doing their job. That's kind of the impression we're getting, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest some bad things that were afoot here that really made it fucking impossible for us to get our players into the country. And we eventually had to drop them, which is of course a huge blow to our organization as a whole. So we are suing them, and you know what I've learned through this lawsuit process? It turns out that there is corruption built into the US Constitution itself, where even if we're successful in beating the US immigration in this lawsuit, they cannot pay us out any damages, of which there...
Yep. This is the type of thing that radicalizes people. The fact that this issue is going to require him to gain an education in so many of the flaws and fuck-ups in our legal system, and like down to the fucking Constitution, the perfect fucking Constitution, the unarguable, perfect thing that no American is allowed to question or criticize, there are flaws, and it is a broken system. Dude. This is the kind of stuff that radicalizes people, at the very least, towards a more populist political perspective, not necessarily left. I would hope more left, but there's a very good, there's always a chance this could go in a bad direction, but I think this is a good step. I would love to see more political critical bars.
There's a lot. This has been a super expensive process. And there's also so much lost income here because there's so much money on the line for this tournament, as well as there's so many potential eyes on our organization, as well as all of the legal fees. It's so much money that went into this, all of which was just burned thanks to US immigration fucking us. And no matter...
And they can't get the payout. That's fucking garbage. If you get a chat with Charlie one day, that'd be fun to watch. Unlikely maybe, but still. Guys, don't just resign stuff like that to being unlikely or impossible. Do you guys know how we make that possible? Hit that like button. I'm not joking. Hit that like button. Liking my videos, commenting, subscribing. Those are completely free ways of supporting the channel that actively boost my channel, and every single person doing that helps. So, yeah, that's how we get to the point where I'll have enough, clout, so to say, that I could potentially get a conversation with Critical one day. And maybe have, a political awakening,
What happens with the lawsuit, they will not pay us back a penny at all.
That's
now,
fucking
the biggest
trash.
thing that can happen from the lawsuit if we win is they overturn their decision of rejecting the Australians,
it's too
which
late.
is great. That is a happy ending for sure. But it was alarming to learn that the U.S. government is not liable for any of these damages that they were directly responsible for us, in regards to us. That's kind of crazy to me. So what possible incentive do the workers at U.S. Immigration have for even doing their job in the first place if no matter what happens, they don't suffer any losses? So it turns out people sue the U.S. Immigration Office pretty often, and it doesn't look like they fight that frequently or fight that hard. Very rarely does a U.S. immigration lawsuit go to trial, apparently, because they're more than willing to just settle because they lose nothing. They lose nothing by not doing their job.
So it's not even going to be a serious thing. It's just going to be like suing U.S. immigration is almost the setup, the system they have set up to act as it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission, if they do anything too out of pocket, just sue them. They don't fight back. They can't really they don't lose any money or anything. They're just kind of forced to overturn their decision if it's decided that they were full of shit. And they hope people don't go that far. What the fuck, dude? System's more broken than I even knew.
They can't lose money. All they do is just overturn a decision, which I guess is super easy for them, perhaps. So they just have no problem settling. So, what possible reason is there for any of the workers at U.S. Immigration to even take their job seriously? We also can't even go after our agent in particular who mishandled this case, because to do that, we would have to pierce the corporate veil of the U.S. fucking government. We would have to go through Uncle Sam to get to that agent, which is not happening. That is an unwinnable battle. So the individuals are protected as well. So let's say you had an agent at U.S. Immigration that's just racist. By all possible definitions, he's just racist and is declining people because he does.
I think Critical might be moving in the right direction from this experience. I'm going to be honest, guys. Not only that, though, but think about how they're trying to expand the standard to the fucking president right now. Trump's Supreme Court picks are currently looking at trying to make Trump immune to all criminal action, charges for criminal action committed while president. under the claim that if you can go after the ex-president legally, or the president legally for crimes they commit, then that could lead to a state where the president would be too afraid to give up their seat out of fear that the previous president might prosecute them for a crime they committed. The Republicans aren't even being, like, secretive about their opinion on this. They just want to protect their own in government and make them literally untouchable, get out of jail free card having people in government that can't be stopped or checked.
Not happening. That is an unwinnable battle. So the individuals are protected as well. So let's say you had an agent at U.S. Immigration that's just racist. Like, by all possible definitions, he's just racist and is declining people because he doesn't like their skin color. Well, too fucking bad. That person is probably not getting fired because they don't seem to care, and you can't do anything against that person because they are protected by U.S. Immigration blanket.
And I bet that hypothetical is not just a hypothetical. In fact, I think it's likely a very real reality.
Immigration isn't liable for any damages. The best they'll do is overturn a decision. So you're just kind of shit out of luck across the board. Like, it's worth suing U.S. Immigration to get that decision overturned if we win, but I am stunned at how deep and rotten the system is. It is so fucking broken. It is a joke. It is a joke. But anyway, I can't get into specifics here. I'll just leave it at all of these, more general statements about this case. I'll, of course, keep all of you updated through this legal process. But for now, let's end on some good news. Because like I said, our team, even in spite of all this bullshit, has popped off and secured winner's side going into tomorrow. I would love to see all of you come out there to support our squad for the watch parties. I'll be streaming it here on YouTube as well as on Twitch at Moist Critical. So please stop by, cheer on the squad, give them your energy.
I'm glad there's at least, like, a happy ending to all this for those involved, but it really sucks the system is itself just so broken and nothing can really be done about it. Like, what nothing can be done about it even if you sue them. But hey, that's the system. That's the broken system we live in. Politicians are in charge of these decisions. This is where Critical makes the realization of, wait, there's nothing I can do, even as a single person with all the money I could ask for and all the lawyers I could ask for. The only people that can change this and make this better are politicians. The only way to solve this is to elect better people that will change this. That's the only conclusion I can assume, I would hope he comes to from this. That we need to elect better people that will fix these broken systems.
Like a giant spirit bomb. And let me just show you our final game for the day where we actually fucking steamrolled every squad and secured winner's side. Okay. Oh,
that's him reacting to their team.
Nice flush. Please, knock him.
Oh.
Nice.
Purple shield.
2 dark stars. Flush. Oh, he's so low. Yeah, just push that.
I used to be really good at Apex, guys. When this game came out, I was really good. I killed Lifted from 100 Thieves, who was the best Wraith player at the time. Wiped him and his whole squad.
Nice, knocked.
In a video.
Good shit. Hey.
I was literally just, like, recording some video of me playing Apex. I was pretty good at the game, and I could get some pretty solid footage of me just wiping squads for background gameplay footage for commentary. And it was one of my videos. It was one of my first political videos. It was me talking about Notch, being alt-right. And in that video, you can watch it now and see I literally kill 100 Thieves Lifted and his entire squad. And he was also streaming at the time too. The clip exists somewhere, I'm sure, from his POV. But the clip's still on my channel now, in that Notch's alt-right video from way back in the day. And, yeah, I was pretty good at Apex once, Once I was good at Apex.
That's 4 points. We got 100. All right. Now let's get some insurance. This is so sneaky. This is devilish. Yep, here we go. This is the perfect third-party time. How did we not down him? Nice, Waltzy.
Yes, Galaxy Bomb 42. I did.
Oh fuck, it's a different team.
Jesus Christ.
He's so low, finish him. Nice, alright. Swap, get the fuck out.
This game has gotten a lot faster paced.
This is good points.
The skill ceiling's increased, guys. That was not this good.
That was such a good call! Aggressive calls! Finally, let's go! That is when we do our best work. Aggressive calls.
Shields, let's go.
Disengage. Shield knocked one. Good shit. Good shit. You don't have to fully commit.
God, Apex is fun. I think the rest of this is just gameplay, so we'll probably wrap it up here. But dude, I'm really curious to see what the response from this is going to be. Comments say stuff like this. Florida man sues U.S. immigration over professional video game. Sounds like a real Florida man headline. We have investigated ourselves and found nothing wrong. U.S. immigration. My coworker's uncle very meticulously tried following the U.S. immigration process. He went to renew his visa and had his interview paperwork in order. Explained he had sole custody of his daughter. Showed his clean record. He was deported a month ago. That is one of the top comments on the video, the third comment. If EA is on your side against someone, they have done something very wrong. Yep, exactly what I said. If EA is on your side against, like, the bad guys, then those are some pretty fucking bad guys. I cannot fucking believe you won't get an ounce of compensation even if you win the suit. Holy shit, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. That has 11,000 likes. I bet a lot of people didn't even know the system was that broken. Florida man versus the government, they don't stand a chance. Sue on my cousin-in-law's behalf, too. He has been married to my cousin for a couple years, been working in the U.S. and waiting on his citizenship for over a year. They keep telling him a few more weeks/months. They have lost money on a few trips as he needs his citizenship first, and it still hasn't arrived. As a U.S. citizen, I got my Sentry denied because my voice quivered the slightest bit, and they thought my dad was trying to get me to smuggle drugs across the border. The person interviewing me also gave me shit because I didn't know my deceased maternal grandmother's birth date, whom passed before my birth. Appeal also instantly rejected. Good luck, Charlie. I hope you win. Dude. These have a lot of likes, too. A lot of these posts about people telling their really fucked up stories about U.S. immigration and dealing with it in the comments. Xanderhall, what do you say about that the immigration system hasn't changed in 40 years? That sounds right to me, that the U.S. immigration system is the same now as it was like in the 70s. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. No, doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I could not believe the Democrats any time in the last 40 years could have gained enough popular support for laxing immigration is the Republicans' second best wedge issue outside of guns. So, yeah. Anyway, I really hope the best for Charlie on this one. I'm glad to see it that from the looks of things, he's just moving in the right direction politically from this experience. Well, if you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed my commentary, please consider leaving a like down below no matter when or where you're watching. Every single thumbs up really does go a long way, and I really do appreciate it. It basically prods YouTube into supporting my content in the algorithm. And of course, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon to turn on all notifications on YouTube so they actually tell you when I go live or upload a new video. And of course, if you want to see more from me and support the channel and help keep a roof over my head, consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch. All those links are down below in the description. The merch is particularly cool. I don't make a profit on it, but if you guys want to pick up some merch, the profit for me is seeing you guys wearing Xander Hall merch. That goes hard as fuck. And of course, if you guys want to join my fan Discord, you can. It is totally free. I highly recommend joining. We have tons of different events going on in there, ranging from call-ins, watch parties, game servers that I host, and I make all my announcements in there for my new videos and uploads. So, yeah, with all that said, I hope to see you there, and I hope you enjoyed.